You've got a new article available on FoxSports.com, the Fox Sports app, about your attendance at the famous Game of the Century 50 years ago in 1971 when these two teams played. Tell us a little bit about it.
I was there. 5 rows up from the 50-yard line for what I believe was the greatest college football game ever played. You had #1 Nebraska, the defending national champ, a team that ESPN.com would finally choose to be the greatest team of all time, allowing 6 points a game, visiting my #2 ranked Sooners in their souped-up new Wishbone, which was averaging 500 yards a game on the ground and 45 points a game. It was a game that actually exceeded its all-time build-up and hype. It was a game that was watched by a then-record 55 million people on Thanksgiving. And what I've written is the backstory of what I saw and felt that cold, gray day in Norman, Oklahoma.
Well, be sure to check out the article on the app and watch the game tomorrow at noon Eastern on Fox. But moving back to Skip's other team, the Cowboys. For most of the offseason, Dak Prescott's shoulder was a major concern as it kept him sidelined. Yet against the Bucs, he threw it 58 times before losing on a walk-off field goal. Now, Dak has thrown it at least 55 times in 3 of his last 4 games, going back to last season. And in his past 5 games, he's thrown for an NFL record 1,993 yards. Shannon, can the Cowboys win throwing the ball this much?
Skip, you can win, but I don't believe they can win at the level that what you expect and what Jerry Jones wants them to win at. But unfortunately, Skip, this is the way they built their roster. This is not your – it's kind of like the Steelers. We used to think of the Steelers, Skip, what? They played great defense, they ran the football. But when they got Ben Roethlisberger and he started to mature, they no longer ran the football like that. They threw it around. They started drafting those receivers. They got Emmanuel Sanders. They started Hines Ward and Santonio Holmes and all those guys, Skip. And you see the transformation that they made. Well, when you pay a guy $40 million at the quarterback position, Skip, you're not paying him $40 million to turn around and hand the ball off 30 times. When you trade for Amari Cooper and you give up a first-rounder, you draft a receiver with the first round when you know you need defense. You're saying, we're going to throw the football. And this is why I felt Zeke was one of the reasons, another reason Zeke wasn't going to have a bounce-back season, because they're no longer a running football team, Skip. They are a throwing football team. And so when you look at it, Skip, and this is something that I found very interesting, Skip. Looking at the second-half drives, Dak's second-half drives, he's had 30 second-half drives. Guess how many times he's had the ball in his hand with the lead in the second half? 2. I'm going to take it even further back.
Over these, you're talking about over the 5 games?
The 30 second-half drives, he's had the lead with the ball twice in 30 drives. I'm going to go back even further, Skip. Since the start of last season, Dak has had 67 total drives. Guess how many times he's had the lead with the ball in his hand? Twice. So what does that tell you, Skip? He's throwing for all these yards because why? He's behind. And so now you have to throw. And when you look at it, Skip, he loses these games. You're like, man, Dak had 500. Dak threw for 475. But you lost. So I turned it empty calories, because what's happening is that you're never in a position where you have the lead and you can do something other than have to throw the football. Skip, I believe in order, you got to find some balance. You look at Dak. Dak has gone from throwing the ball 29 times as a rookie. Now, Skip, he's 44 times a game. Well, there's Zeke carries. Zeke used to get the ball 25 times a game. Now Zeke's getting it 15 times, and you expect him to do the same with 15 carries as he was doing with 25. This is a different team. And Skip, before I turn it over to you, let me ask you a real question. If I gave Jerry Jones a choice, I say, Jerry, you can win like the Ravens, running the football, or you win like the Chiefs. Which one you think he's taking? He gonna win, but which one you think he's taking?
Well, obviously, he wants box office.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what does he want, Skip?
But are you saying both options are win-win?
Both options are win-win.
You can go win the Super Bowl?
You can go win the Super Bowl.
Well, obviously, he wants the whipped cream. Man.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why he loved Romo so much, Skip, because he's box office. Jerry is like, come one, come all, the greatest show. It's the greatest show on turf, not the greatest running game, the greatest running game ever.
Hurry, step right up here on the Midway. He is the ultimate carnival barker. He is the ringmaster. He wants to sell the Dallas Cowboys.
Right. Not literally, though, because you already made that abundantly clear yesterday, Skip.
As in market the Dallas Cowboys.
Said, hey, everybody has a price. Jerry Jones said the Cowboys are for sale.
Okay. I do not disagree with anything you just said, but I want to drive home to our viewers the staggering numbers that Dak Prescott has put up over his last 5 games. It's unheard of. It's historic.
Yeah.
And they were really lucky to win one of those games.
Thank you.
Really lucky. It took a football miracle.
Yes.
It took a minor life miracle for them to pull off the watermelon onside kick that they recovered against the worst pass defense in the history of the game.
Yes.
The Atlanta Falcons last year, to pull off a 40-39 victory at home over said Falcons.
Down 29-10, down 39-20.
You're kidding. Okay, that's the only dub of the 5 games.
Right.
So I get it. I'm going to defend my man Dak just on this count. There are very few quarterbacks who, if you just put him in that position and gave him that many attempts, could throw for that many yards. So I'm giving. He will fight you to the death, and he gets deadly accurate when they're. You can call them empty calories, but they're coming from behind. At least they almost make it a game.
But why are you in that position,
Okay,
Skip?
because you had the ball early. You always tell me, did they get the ball early? Yeah,
Exactly.
And you didn't do anything with it. Okay, so obviously Dak said this week, we got to start faster. They started pretty fast at GOAT on Thursday night. So I saw a new Cowboy spirit, a new direction, a new feel, except when I looked at the final numbers and I said 58 pass attempts to only 18 runs. 58 to 18.
Thank you.
I will never forget having Drew Brees on our show in our inaugural season here on Undisputed at Houston at the Super Bowl. And he said, look, the year we broke through and finally won a Super Bowl, what was that, 2009? Yeah, 2009. He said, we bounced it up. We were actually, by the end of the regular season, we were 50-50 run pass. Okay, well, maybe you don't have to go to 50-50 in this day and age when everybody's throwing a little more, except the Ravens. But the point is, you at least need to be 55-45.
Or 60-40, Skip. You can't be 80-20. You can't be 90-10.
Okay. And yet, what did Kellen Moore divulge? Because I think he was trying to defend himself as the play caller.
Like he didn't call any runs. I called him.
He said, I called 28 runs, and Dak checked out or audibled out of 12 of them. Well, I'm here to tell you, I want to be on record with this. That is a scary stat because Dak and Zeke are besties. At least for now. But trust me, at some point, behind the scenes or maybe in public, Ezekiel Elliott is going to express some dissatisfaction with that because his best friend is saying, no, I'm going to throw it, right?
You know why he's going to express dissatisfaction? Because the fans and the Dallas media is beating him up because they're saying
what's wrong? Okay.
See, they're not looking, Skip, they're not looking at it like, hey, I had me some runs lined up. But Dak audible to what he thought was a better play. And the one opportunity that he got, Skip, they said, well, the old Zeke would have done this. And so it's Cowboy fans and the media that if this, and I don't believe it will, Skip, but I'm just saying, just for the sake of argument, because you broached the subject, that would be the reasons why. Because he knows Dak is going to have his best interest, but at the time, the best interest for us is to throw the football against said front.
Okay, so they ran 76 plays at GOAT. I said it to open the show. I'm going to pound my fist on the table and say it again. You have to balance it up at Chargers. Justin Herbert is too good. He will slay you. He will pick you to pieces because you basically, you're wounded on defense. You're down too many starters. You got too many kids playing. So you have to control the clock. Bill Parcells said before that Giants-Buffalo Super Bowl against the K-Gun offense, shorten the game. It's easy. You just shorten the game. If you hang on to the football, you can dink and dack some. You can do that. But you have to control it and drive it. And then, obviously, when you get to 3rd and goal at the 2-yard line after a 76-yard drive, Zeke's got to make that play. That's just me. You know, you said Blake Jarwin missed the block. I got it. But if you get Zeke one-on-one on the perimeter with a practice squad, bounce around, backup safety. He's just got to make the play and get it in the end zone. And I believe it's time for him to make one of those plays.
But here's the thing, Skip, it's all about rhythm also. We ask the quarterback to make throws, but they're in rhythm when they make those throws. You're asking Zeke after block, after block, after block, after block. Hey, Zeke, we need you to be the old Zeke. We need you to stiff arm this guy, make this guy miss, and get the ball into the end zone.
Okay.
Zeke, like, man, I hadn't touched the ball but like 4 times, 5 times up until that point. I need to gain a rhythm.
Okay, so I would love to see 46 passes and 30 runs. I would love to see that. I don't know if Kellen Moore has that in him. I don't know if Dak will sit still for that. But if you told me Zeke got 30 runs and ran for 100 yards.
Or the team got 30 runs.
Okay, and Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
I love Tony Pollard. He's not Zeke, but he's a great change of pace.
Right.
Because he's got a little bit of, he's got that one burst gear to him that I love.
Skip, you need to look. There are very few teams that have 2 Hall of Fame running backs. The Cowboys got 2. Tony Dorsett and Emmitt Smith. What did the Cowboys do in the 70s? They ran the football. What did the Cowboys do in the 90s?
Ooh.
Troy Aikman's in the Hall of Fame. Michael Irvin in the Hall of Fame. But Emmitt Smith and that big offensive line carried them.
But I defy you. Go look at Troy's numbers. They're not great. He was great, but they weren't great because they ran the football.
Right. He was great when he needed to be.
He was. He was deadly accurate at the right time.
So the thing is, Skip, is that you're expecting to see the Cowboys that won Super Bowls. That's not what they are now. They paid Dak $40 million to make $75 million this year, Skip. When they give guys that, look at all the guys that make the big bucks.
Yep.
What does Josh Allen do? Throw the football. What does Mahomes do?